Hello, my name is LoG and welcome to Quickies number 12, where I show you something that I think is cool in 5 minutes or less. Today we're going to talk about a smooth way that you can change keys or borrow chords from another key. One of the problems that can happen when you are switching keys or doing something like this is the sound can sometimes be too drastic, too jarring, or too abrupt because you are changing keys, and sometimes that is what happens. Now, of course, that's not necessarily a bad thing. That might be exactly what you want, but if you want a smoother transition between the two keys or the two different chords, there are some methods that you can use to do that. And the method that we're going to talk about today is common tone modulation, a very fancy term for simply this. You have the chord that you're playing that's in one key, and then you have the next chord that you're going to play that's in a different key. All you need to do is make sure that those two chords have a common tone between the two. So a chord tone of this chord is also a chord tone of this chord. And when your ears hear that note as the chords change, that note acts as like the glue between the two, or like the lifeline that your ears can hold on to while the key change happens. So when you do make that change, it's a little smoother. So a really great example of this exact sound is from a pretty popular song right now called All I Need by Jacob Collier. He put out the backing track for that solo that everyone soloed over, which you can check out my version at the link above. But the solo section is really just two chords. It's G flat major 7 and then B flat major 7. It's really just those two chords moving back and forth. Now those two chords are not in the same key, and they never are. So when we make that switch, we are changing keys. But the switch in particular is not that jarring or drastic because these chords have common tones. Again, not just one common tone, two common tones in this case. So let's take a look at what they are. So the G flat major 7, I'm just going to play a really simple version right here. That's just 1, 3, 7 of G flat. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of the chord. The third and the 7, that's B flat and F, right? Third and the 7th of this. But of the B flat, the next chord of the progression, right? Those two notes are root and 5 of B flat, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So these notes, both of them, are in both chords. Of the F sharp, or excuse me, the G flat, you can call it F sharp I guess if you want. The B flat is the third, but then of the B flat it's the root. And then of the F sharp or G flat, the F is the 7th, but then of the B flat, it's the 5th. So those notes have dual function over both chords. I can even sing those notes and hold them the whole time while I switch the chords freely, and you'll notice I never have to adjust because that note is in both chords. Let's try it. So this is the first one, the B flat. Third of this, root of that. Let's listen. So, bum. Never had to switch because that note is in both chords. Let's try the other one. So this is the F, right? 7th of this, 5th of this. So, right? Never had to switch, again, because that note has dual function over both chords. You can even do this kind of in your lead if you want as well. You can target these notes knowing that they have dual function over both chords. So if I'm playing like F sharp or G flat major 7, something like that, I can sit on this note knowing that it will become the 5th of the next chord. And I don't necessarily have to switch anything. Same thing with the other one. There's that note. That's the third of this, but it's going to become the root of this. Right? Root of that, but now the third of the next. And then the root of this. A lot of really cool sounds that you can do when you experiment with these kind of changes and targeting these notes. It'll make things kind of a lot easier. Now, an example of a more jarring chord progression, because there isn't necessarily like common tones between the two, or really blatant common tones, is something like if I went G flat major 7, same chord as the first chord we just talked about, but then went to like C major 7. So that'd be like this, right? Listen to that change. That's a super drastic change. It doesn't sound anywhere near as smooth as this. Right? That's a lot smoother because there's no common tones between G flat major 7 and C major 7. I mean, you can kind of like sort of find one if you wanted, like the root of C major 7 could be the sharp 4 of the G flat. That might be a possibility, but you have to really like make that a featured note to really make that change work. But for this other one, again, a lot smoother because they have not one but two common tones. So really cool sound that you can experiment with. So one of the best ways I think to practice this, if this is something that you like and you want to kind of build your ear for these sounds, what you can do is very simple. Pick an open string on the guitar as your common tone. So that open string will always happen regardless of what you're playing. And then you simply just pick 2 keys, or however many keys you want, that have that open string ringing as a functioning note of the key. So I'm going to do really simple. My open string is going to be the B string, and I'm going to play chords that are in 2 keys, very simple, B minor and B major, right? B is obviously a good note or a strong note in both of those keys, right? It's the root of B minor and it's the root of B major, so I know it's going to function, but I can simply switch between those 2 keys at any time because I know the B is going to be the common tone between the 2. So here are a bunch of chords in B minor. So here's B minor, right? All of those chords have B in it. Those are just chords in the key of B minor. Now I'm going to play chords in the key of B major. Same thing. This note's going to be ringing the whole time. Right? Now if I freely just mess around and switch between B major and B minor, you'll notice that the color, the shift is there, but the jarring element isn't really there necessarily because I have the open B string ringing and connecting everything. So check this out. B minor. How about B major? B minor. B minor, B major, right? How about B minor, B major? How about B minor, B minor still, B minor, B major, B major, all B major, B minor, B minor, B minor, B minor, B major. Right, so I can switch freely between those 2 keys because the B is the common tone holding everything together. So just to demonstrate this, I recorded just like a short little piece that is me doing essentially that, same exact thing, same keys, same open string, with some little synth in the background holding a B to really hit home that common tone. And I'm also playing and singing melodies. When you're doing this, I think having melodic ideas in your head really hits this idea hard, because sometimes having, just the chord switch is fine, but if you have a melody that's strong, it'll make it even smoother because your ears are going to lock onto the melody as well. And if the melody works, if the melody is smooth, then everything's going to be smooth and you really don't have to worry about anything being jarring or anything like that. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this one, and I'll see you in the next one.